beautiful
Oh,
Spanish.
okay. What are they gonna?
Porque
What are
no
they
se
gonna do with
grabó.
it? What are they gonna do with that? Okay, don't worry
Estaba
about
muy bonito su español.
it.
Bueno,
Thank you,
y esta
thank
es
you.
la clase.
Okay.
Bien. ¿Quién la va a
Puede
hacer?
poner de esa clase. Jerson, gracias.
Ok.
Muchas gracias, Jerson. Muchas
Hasta.
gracias. Right, and each one in grade, Rav Obi says it moves more like a higher. It moves up in grades, like spiritually, each one.
Y cada elemento va como ascendiendo en grandeza, como en un escalón va ascendiendo.
So that means it's more that means to overcome it, you need to find a higher a higher place in your mind to overcome each stage.
Entonces, para ir superando cada etapa, uno debe tener una conciencia más elevada de sí mismo.
Okay, you said it very good. And right, and we said that. I mean, therefore, I mean, in the first one, we said even a lazy man is smarter in his own mind than seven wise people giving him explanations.
Cuando explicamos sobre el perezoso, él piensa que su opinión es mucho más sabia que 7 sabios opinando.
Right, but then when we get to pleasure, it's not so easy even to explain why a person shouldn't pursue all the pleasure he can possibly get. I mean.
Cuando llegamos a placer, dijimos que una persona no puede alcanzar a tener todos los placeres que quisiera tener.
No, it's not so easy to explain why this is so to a person.
Es difícil explicarle a una persona por qué esto sucede.
Because, and even we said from the teacher of Wolby that whatever pleasure we have is going to be every small pleasure we have is going to be very, very beloved to us.
Y esto todo explicarlo al maestro de Rav Wolby, que decía que cada placer que tengamos es muy valioso para nosotros.
Even a small pleasure is going to be very precious to us.
Incluso un pequeño placer puede ser muy preciado para nosotros.
Like a child that holds on to their doll like it's everything in the world.
Como un niño que se sujeta a su muñeca como si fuera lo más importante en la vida.
And so only by being able to get in touch with a sense of a higher pleasure, then you can get yourself rise above this thing, physical pleasure.
Entonces, si una persona logra encontrar ese placer superior, elevado, es capaz de superarse y de ver más allá.
Right. To connect, to at least have a sense, you need to connect in this world to some spiritual pleasure, spiritual feeling for spiritual pleasures in this world.
En ese mundo, por lo menos hay que intentar encontrar ese placer espiritual.
Then we can have a feeling. We'll have a stronger feeling that the in the next world the pleasure is, much greater.
Entonces, en el siguiente mundo, podemos darnos cuenta que el placer es mucho más grande, mucho más grandioso.
Right. Only if we have a feeling for these things in this world, then we'll be able to get hold on to the vision of what's going to be in the next world.
Entonces, solo mediante el placer que siente la persona en este mundo, puede llegar a percibir o hacerse una idea de cómo sería el placer en el otro mundo.
Right, but the spirit, I'm talking spiritual specifically. Only when he has a feeling for spiritual pleasure in this world.
Pero solo si tiene ese placer espiritual en este mundo.
Right. Then at least you can balance out against the physical pleasure.
Entonces así pueda encontrar un balance entre el placer físico y el placer espiritual.
Because if you don't have that, then the physical pleasure is precious, like the teacher always says, very, very, very precious to a person.
Porque de no ser así, entonces este placer físico es el placer más preciado, lo más importante.
And there's no way you can contemplate him trying to take it away from a person.
Y es muy difícil hacer que la persona pueda contemplar otro placer fuera de eso.
To be taken away. It's like taking away a doll from a little child.
Y para tomárselo, para quitárselo a una persona, sería como quitarle la muñeca a un niño.
Okay. And so that was the second of the elements, and then the third one is already the wind.
Ese fue el segundo elemento. El tercer elemento fue el viento.
Is a person going to use their highest capabilities, which is speech? For what will they use?
Si la persona va a usar su cualidad más importante, que es el habla, ¿cómo la utilizaría?
What is he going to use it for? Is he going to use it to serve the higher self, the higher part of himself, the mind part of himself, the mindful part of himself?
Si va a usar la parte más elevada, la parte consciente de su mente para el habla.
So he's going to use speech for that, to serve the mind, basically.
Entonces, básicamente va a ser que el habla se vuelva un sirviente de la mente.
Or is speech going to be like a servant of the lower part of himself, and just to go on and on, trying to gain what for the lower part? That's.
O, por otro lado, la persona puede hacer que el habla se vuelva el sirviente a la parte más baja de nosotros. Entonces, ¿qué va a hacer?
Right. So this is a finer challenge than even pleasure. I mean.
Y esto es un reto un poco más difícil en comparación al placer.
No, finer means like grains of sand. You have like thick coarse salt, and you have fine salt, like the
Okay.
small little salt. So that's finer. It's finer quality than pleasure.
Esta es una cualidad un poco más fina en comparación al decir el placer.
Right, because speech is already, which way speech is going to go is quite subtle, and
porque ver hacia dónde va el habla es un poco más sutil.
What is your speech serving is a subtle thing.
¿A qué sirve tu habla? Eso es un poco más sutil.
And that's what we said. Even when you study, even in Torah, when you're studying Torah, there still could be a question. What are you serving when you study? Which part of you is?
Incluso cuando estudias la Torah, uno piensa qué estás tratando de conseguir, qué estás tratando de encontrar con eso. Aún eso es cuestionable.
Right. So you see that even always in whatever you're speaking, you have this question. I mean, what are you serving? What part of you are you serving when you're speaking?
Entonces, cuando hablas, también hay esa pregunta, ¿qué parte de ti estás sirviendo?
Right, and so that's why this is even a higher thing, a higher, finer, a test, a bigger challenge than the one before it even.
Es por esto que se vuelve una tarea, un reto un poco más fino, más sutil para nosotros.
All right, and so then we get to the last one. Right. Oh, but one more point that I was trying to make before we get to them. I mean,
llegamos al último que quiero llegar.
One more point that I wanted to make, which is that so if you have 7 wise men, if the lazy man is smarter than 7 wise men, then these other ones, the water and the wind, they're even more so. I mean, that's all.
Could you repeat the part?
Yeah, if the lazy man is already smarter than 7 wise people explaining things, so then certainly when you face the challenge of the other ones, it's even more so like that, a challenge.
Entonces es como un reto, como esta persona que es perezosa, que es un poco inteligente, cuando se enfrente a los 7 hombres sabios, es más o menos así.
Right. The person who sits on his couch always, in his mind, he's convinced of his excuses, and his excuses are better than anything else. Somebody else could possibly tell him.
Entonces esta persona que se sienta en el sofá tiene muchas excusas, muchos justificativos para decir que por eso lo está haciendo.
And he believes that his excuses are better than anything than any of these wise people could possibly tell him.
Entonces, todas estas excusas son mucho más fuertes que cualquier cosa que estos sabios le puedan decir.
Right, he believes so in his mind. I mean, that's his way of looking at things.
La persona perezosa es la forma en que ella lo percibe, que lo piensa y no puede aceptar otra cosa fuera de eso.
Right. So certainly in the other ones, it's even more so like that. In a person's mind, he perceives that whatever he's doing is justified, and even more so.
Incluso más en las personas en general también lo que ellos piensan, lo que ellos perciben, pues eso es todo lo que hay, no ven nada más.
With the other qualities, with the pleasure seeking and like you have even in the verse in the prophets, eat, drink, and be merry. Tomorrow I'll die. Whatever. That's what the pleasure seekers say.
Eso se refiere también a las cualidades, a la... sorry, I didn't hear what you said the last part.
Eat in the prophets, it says that the pleasure seekers, they say, eat, drink, be merry tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to die.
Entonces, el que busca placer piensa, cada sorbo que doy así es importante porque mañana quién sabe qué va a pasar, podría morir mañana.
It's a verse in the prophets like this.
Es un verso que hay en los profetas.
Okay, so now we get to fire, which is right. So we'll understand that it's an advanced, even finer than whatever we had before, fire. So we'll have to understand.
Entonces ahora vamos al fuego. Es una cualidad un poco más fina en comparación a las otras.
And we'll try to understand the repair of it. What says here.
Ravolvi nos dice algo sobre la reparación de esta cualidad de fuego.
Means to say that it means that the top of the flame goes upwards. That's it.
Okay, entonces la parte de arriba de la flama sabe hacia dónde está la dirección de arriba.
Good. I think it came up on Hanukkah. We talked about this. It somehow came up in there somewhere.
Creo que salió este tema en Hanukkah cuando lo vimos.
Right. So Rav Wolbe says this. So in a person, this is expressed as.
El Ravolvi dice en las personas se expresa de la siguiente manera.
Either to go up and up and up spiritually.
O vamos hacia arriba espiritualmente.
Or to go up in arrogance and coarseness of spirit.
O podemos ir alto hacia la arrogancia.
Okay, so earlier when we first did the summation of when we first went through the elements, so Rav Wolbe had on one side to grow spiritually, on the other side to grow in valuing yourself. That's the other side.
Entonces, vimos como estas dos facetas cuando al comienzo Rav Wolbe decía que o aumentas espiritualmente o puedes ir aumentando en la parte de la arrogancia de la persona.
Or person's self, ego, to grow the ego aspect of a person's self.
La parte
That's
individual. Okay, entonces la persona puede
that's
crecer.
the negative.
La parte negativa es cuando crece. Okay,
Sorry.
Entonces la persona crece en la parte que dice que es la parte personal, la parte del ego individual.
Right. Oh, they say that in Spanish, ego. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same word.
All right. And the sages seek in the Torah, where does it say arrogance is prohibited? They ask him.
Y los sabios se preguntan en qué parte de la Torah está prohibida la arrogancia.
Does it say in any verse, don't be arrogant? Does it say?
No dice explícitamente, no seas arrogante.
So the sages said that in the Torah it says, guard yourself lest you forget about Hashem.
En la Torah dice, guárdate a ti mismo de olvidar a Hashem.
To forget about Hashem. So the sages say that's where you see you're not allowed to be arrogant.
En esa parte que dice que no te olvides de Hashem es la parte que la persona debe decir. Es por eso que una persona no puede ser arrogante. no se debe olvidar de Hashem.
That's how. So the sages learned this from this verse.
Los sabios aprenden de este verso.
Okay, so basically, Rashi says if you forget about God,
Rashi dice, si te olvidas de Hashem,
no, if that means you have arrogance. That's
eso quiere decir que eres arrogante.
and so therefore to overcome arrogance, Rav Wolbe says you have to remember about Hashem constantly. Don't forget about Hashem. Ever.
Entonces, Rav Wolbe nos da esta herramienta para no ser arrogante, es siempre tener presente a Hashem, nunca olvidarse de Hashem.
Okay, but he says to be able to do this is a very great quality to be able to.
El hecho de poder hacerlo en sí es una gran cualidad.
Right, to remember Hashem all the time, that's very great, he says.
El hecho de poder recordar a Hashem en todo momento es algo muy, muy grande.
Right, but so what is our job, though? Rav Wolbe says.
Entonces Rav Wolbe dice, ¿cuál es nuestro trabajo?
To prepare ourselves for this thing.
Prepararnos para estas cosas.
And the way to prepare, the direction to prepare is not to fall into arrogance and coarseness of spirit.
La forma de hacer esto es no caer en la arrogancia.
So we should try. So our goal, if so, is to be close to remembering Hashem.
Nuestra meta debería ser tratar de mantenerlo más cercano a siempre recordar a Hashem.
Right. Or to not cause ourselves, our nature is to forget about Hashem.
O no permitirnos a nosotros mismos, a nuestra naturaleza, no olvidarnos de Hashem.
Okay, so basically, basically, so if you're involved with serving, like if you get too involved with serving yourself, then you're forgetting about Hashem. You're thinking that you're here to serve yourself.
Entonces, Rav Schneider dice que si una persona está involucrada mucho en sí misma, pues tiende a olvidarse de Hashem.
Because you think that you're here to serve yourself, promote yourself.
Porque piensas que debes servirte a ti mismo, promoverte a ti mismo.
Right. He says every person automatically has a sense of his being. It's very hard to get rid of this.
Toda persona tiene un sentido de su ser. Es muy difícil de quitarse eso.
Because really bound up in the whole thing of I and myself, and the fact that you exist even is that feeling itself almost like makes you forget about Hashem.
Porque este sentido que la persona tiene de su ser es tan fuerte que lo hace olvidarse de Hashem.
Right, and it could be not in a coarse way, but in some way.
Tal vez no sea de una forma abierta, tal vez pueda ser de una forma sutil.
Right, a person, it's very, very hard for a person not to put value on themselves, to perceive themselves as having a special value.
Es difícil para una persona no darse valor, darse este sentido de un valor elevado, es difícil.
Right, and he said we could see it that how people don't like automatically want to defer to somebody else. I mean, he says we can
Defer.
Yeah, defer means to deferir. Somebody understands it. Deferir. That's exactly the word. Deferir. Defer.
Diferir?
That's the word.
Okay.
Defer.
It's not
Yeah,
the
that's the
same
word.
difference? No.
I don't think so. You understand the deferir means defer. Right. So we see. So what we says we see. It's not easy for people to defer to somebody else, a person that, right? That we know.
Entonces Ravolvi dice, vemos que para una persona es difícil aceptar esta diferencia de opiniones o diferir.
It's not to defer to somebody else's opinion. Deferir to somebody else's opinion.
No diferir de las opiniones de otras personas.
Okay. So that shows you that a person wants to value their own opinion more than somebody else's opinion.
Esto muestra que la persona quiere valorar más su opinión que la opinión de otras personas.
Okay, and to practice the Torah and the mitzvahs of Hashem.
Para practicar la mitzvah de la Torah de Hashem.
Then a person has to always defer to Hashem. You know.
Again, that word.
You still can't get it clear what it means.
Yeah.
Like when two people have an opinion, you defer to somebody else's opinion.
But a person can defer from Hashem. This way.
You're supposed to defer to Hashem. It doesn't mean different. It means defer means when you have two views and then you say the other one's better. I accept that my view is lesser and the other one is more.
Okay, entonces la opinión de la persona debe ir dirigida a Hashem, something like that.
Right. If you have an opinion and Hashem has an opinion, you have to say defer to Hashem.
Pues si una persona tiene una opinión, pues debe ir así compatible a la opinión de Hashem.
Right. So therefore, in that deference to Hashem, that's kind of like you have to nullify yourself, nullify your view. Look at you, perceive yourself as lesser.
Incluso en esta variación de opiniones que tengamos, uno tiene como que anularse a sí mismo.
No,
anular
that variation, the deference. Deference means to accept, to be humble and accept somebody else's opinion.
Entonces ser humilde.
I won't say the word deference anymore. I'll just say to be humble and accept somebody else's opinion. That's all.
Okay. So la persona tiene que ser humilde y aceptar la opinión de otras personas.
Right. So therefore, when in relation to practicing the mitzvahs or Torah, then you have to be humble and accept that Hashem's opinion is greater than yours.
Entonces, en relación a cumplir una mitzvah o cosas relacionadas a la Torah, la persona tiene que aceptar que la opinión de Hashem es más importante.
Right, but that takes humility on part of a person.
Pero eso toma una parte de humildad de parte de la persona.
¿Cuál nosotros tiene en esta clase? La vez parte es perdido.
El resto.
Si hay preguntas en esto, puede preguntar.
A ver, pueden escribir sus preguntas.
O si no hay preguntas en eso, puede escribir cuál pregunta. A tema de Musar.
Si no tienen preguntas sobre el shur que acabamos de escuchar, siempre y cuando sea un tema de Musar, que le hace que no sea el de hoy, pueden preguntar.
Thank you. Gracias, señora.
I wrote there the definition for the word that was dropped.
Yeah, I see. I don't want to get involved in that. I want to get involved in, stick with the subject of Musa. You don't have to translate that.
Okay. Cualquier pregunta, a ver. Well, Gerson is asking you to speak a little bit more in regards to that value of to be different towards others. It wasn't understood well, it says. Gerson said it.
Oh.
Wrote it.
Okay. All right. Let me. I'll talk about it then. Okay.
Entonces hablaré de ello.
That means that Rav Wolbe said that a sign that arrogance in a person is not so easy to get rid of
Ravolvi dijo que una señal de que no es tan fácil deshacerse de la arrogancia
is that a person struggles to defer to somebody else's opinion.
es el hecho de que la persona lucha para mostrar deferencia hacia la opinión de otra
No,
persona.
to defer to a different person's opinion.
Deferir a la opinión de otra persona.
Okay, and this is a certain part of human nature. I mean, I see it all around me. What can I say?
Esto es parte de la naturaleza humana. Yo lo veo en mi derredor.
Right.
¿Qué
Now, it
quieren
could
que
be
les
the people in our classes. I look at as people who who striving to learn Musar.
Lo veo en nuestra clase. La gente lucha para aprender Musar. Se esfuerza.
And so therefore they're not my people are not they're not the average people.
Mi gente no es la gente común y corriente promedio.
Right. So therefore for them the concept of the fur is more clear, more a part of their life. I mean,
Para ellos, para nosotros, este concepto de ser deferente es parte de la vida.
okay, really the whole Torah is based on this. I mean, based on this, the whole Torah.
Toda la Torá se basa sobre esto.
Where the Torah is that Hashem is going to tell us what is what has true values.
La Torá nos va a decir qué es lo que tiene valor real.
The Torah is where Hashem tells us
La Torá es donde Hashem nos lo hace saber, nos lo dice.
what it has true values.
¿Qué es lo que tiene valor verdadero?
Okay, and you could see in the world that the world is very, very missing this kind of thing.
Y en el mundo podemos ver que esto está faltando.
Because the people of the world, they don't know that there is such a thing as deferring to other people.
La gente del mundo no sabe que existe, que es posible ser deferente para con otros.
Right. It's so bad that they don't even know that there's such a word as defer. That's how bad it is.
Es tan grave el asunto que ni siquiera conocemos la palabra.
That's why nobody understands the word. You have to have a special dictionary. You're looking for the word. You can't even find the word. You have to have a special dictionary just for this.
Por esa razón tenemos que ir al diccionario y buscar la palabra, porque no tenemos el concepto.
Right, because in these days you have Google is in charge of everything.
En estos días Google está a cargo de todo.
But Google, I don't know. Google, I think, wants people to maybe first. I think they have a two-step plan. Google has a two-step plan to conquer the world.
Yo creo que Google tiene un plan de 2 pasos para conquistar el mundo.
First, make it that nobody has respect for any other opinions at all. That's first.
En primer lugar, ayuda a que las personas no tengan respeto para las opiniones de otros.
Any authorities or any traditions, whatever.
Respeto para ninguna autoridad o tradición. de hoy.
That's simply the way to do that is simply to shut off those voices, close them down. That's simple.
Y simplemente hay que apagar, ignorar, aplastar esas voces.
That's their way to accomplish this.
Es la manera en que lo logran.
Right, and just delete them. That's
Borrarlos. Eso es todo.
and or if somebody ever if people start listening to somebody, so then they embarrass him or catch him with some stupid thing and whatever and embarrass him.
Si alguien empieza a escuchar cosas diferentes, lo avergüenzan, lo atrapan en el momento y hacen burla de él.
They catch him on some stupid point and then they embarrass him. So then nobody wants to. Then usually the person will run away because he's embarrassed.
Atrapan a la persona en algún punto tonto y lo ridiculizan, hacen burla de él y él sale
Right.
corriendo.
And usually people run away. I mean, these methods have been perfected already in the last century.
Estos métodos han sido perfeccionados en el último siglo. Son
Right.
efectivos. La
Right.
persona
Even
huye.
people that protested against Darwin, they would embarrass them and shame them.
Aún las personas que llegaron a protestar en contra de lo que Darwin proponía fueron avergonzadas.
This is already in the late 1800s already.
Y eso sucedió a finales de los 1800.
Okay, so they started a long time ago, Google.
Así es que Google empezó hace mucho.
And then, all right, so that's the first stage. And the next stage is that they're going to claim that the computer knows more than everybody else. That's the next stage.
Bueno, pues ese es el primero de los dos pasos de este propósito de Google. El segundo es hacer saber que la computadora conoce, sabe, domina más que el humano.
Right, and that you could ask the computer any questions, and whatever they say, they know better than everybody.
Le puedes preguntar a la computadora cualquier pregunta y lo que ellos digan será mejor que lo
Right,
que
the
cualquier otra
computer
cosa
could
que
win
las
in chess,
personas
and
digan.
the computer can win in chess.
La computadora puede ganar jugando al ajedrez.
Right, and so then it also they can claim it knows everything, and
Y ahora ellos pueden declarar que la computadora lo sabe todo.
right, and you ask the computer, is there a difference between man and woman? The computer says no difference.
Le preguntas a la computadora, ¿hay alguna diferencia entre hombre y mujer? No, la computadora dice que no.
No difference. Is there a need for 2 bathrooms? No need.
¿Hay necesidad para 2 baños? ¿Para hombres, para mujeres? No, no hay necesidad.
The computer is going to run the world. That's all. Okay.
La computadora va a dirigir al mundo.
Right, and right, but when we're talking about defer, we're talking about defer to the Torah, not to any other authority, just to the Torah.
Pero cuando nosotros hablamos de la deferencia, nos referimos a la Torá, no a otra cosa.
Okay, but again, the point here is that a person there's an internal conflict when it comes to deferring.
Hay un conflicto interno cuando se trata de ser deferente.
And so that's a sign of the arrogance that Rav talks about.
Eso es una señal de la arrogancia. Eso es lo que habla Rav Wolf.
Right, and the people of the world know how to take advantage of this part of a person.
Y la gente del mundo sabe cómo aprovechar esta parte de las personas.
Okay, see if there's questions on this or any subject.
Bueno, vamos a revisar si hay más preguntas sobre eso o algún otro tema. No han escrito.
All right.
No han escrito y no están escribiendo.
All right. As
Cel,
far as what's
en
going on
este
in the world,
estudio,
go ahead. Yeah, see?
cuando uno profundiza se da cuenta que la gran distancia, en lugar de acortarse entre la persona y el creador, por el contrario, es mucho mayor. La persona se vuelve cada vez más consciente de la enorme distancia por recorrer, de la realidad, y nuestros avances son milimétricos. Y podría decir que si uno no fuera por la ayuda de Hashem, tampoco lograríamos avanzar esos nanomilímetros que logramos movernos.
Okay.
Aquí la cuestión es dónde sacar el ánimo para superar esas largas distancias, dado
Right.
nuestra poca capacidad de avanzar.
Right.
Y para
Well,
completar, ok.
very interesting. Rav Wolbe has a beautiful teaching about this thing.
Rav Wolbe tiene una hermosa enseñanza con respecto a esto.
And to summarize it, he says, "Listen, Hashem is the God of truth."
Y resumiéndola, dice, Hashem es el Dios de verdad.
Okay, I'm summarizing what Rav Wolbe says.
Estoy resumiendo lo que Rav Wolbe dice.
Okay, it says in the verse, Hashem is close to whoever calls him in truth.
Dice allí en un verso que Hashem está cercano a cualquier persona que lo busque en verdad.
Who calls him, who cries to him. Okay, you said good, you said good. So now, so that means it's possible to say now that wherever it is truth, then Hashem is there. You could say.
Entonces, es posible decir que donde hay verdad, ahí está Hashem.
Because Hashem is close to the truth.
Porque Hashem es cercano a la verdad.
Or wherever a human being is there, standing, recognizing the truth, Hashem is close.
Hashem es what?
Hashem is close.
Close, okay. Y donde esté la persona reconociendo la verdad, Hashem está cerca.
Okay, and Rav Wolbe says this closeness is no less than any other closeness, in all that they have in all the history of the world.
Rav Wolbe says this closeness is what?
That Rav Wolbe says that this closeness
Rav Wolbe dice que esta cercanía
is no less than any closeness that we have in all the history of the world.
no es menor que cualquier acercamiento o cercanía en toda la historia.
Okay, so listen, can we perfect ourselves in character nowadays?
Bueno, pues escuchemos. ¿Podemos perfeccionar nuestro carácter en estos días?
No,
¿En nuestros días?
no,
No,
no. Because we try to fix our character and we can only do a little bit, okay?
porque nosotros nos esforzamos por corregir nuestro carácter y solamente podemos hacer una pequeñita
Okay,
parte de
the begin a little bit is significant. That's one rule anyhow.
Bueno, pues hay una regla que dice que lo pequeñito es significativo,
Just that still, how we're going to be close to Hashem?
pero subsiste la pregunta, ¿cómo podremos estar cercanos a Hashem?
So then Rav Wolbe says, just recognize this thing itself. Just recognize where you hold it.
Rav Wolbe dice, solo reconoce dónde te encuentras.
stand in front of Hashem and say, "Look where I am, Hashem. Look at me. Look where I'm holding."
Ponte de pie delante de Hashem y dile, mira dónde estoy.
And so in that second, then you'll be in truth over there.
En ese segundo estarás en la verdad.
If you're in truth, then you're close to Hashem.
Y si estás en la verdad, estás cerca de Hashem.
And close as even Rav Wolbe says, as close as even to Avram Yitzchak Yaakov. I think Rav Wolbe says. As
Rav
close to
Wolbe
as
dice
to our forefathers.
que estarás tan cercano a Hashem como Abraham estuvo,
As close to our forefathers.
tan cercano como nuestros patriarcas.
Okay, so this closeness, Rav Wolbe says, this closeness is available to us. This is available.
Rav Wolbe dice que esta cercanía está disponible para nosotros,
But you have to be prepared to face the truth of yourself.
pero tendremos que estar preparados para enfrentar la verdad de nosotros mismos.
And that itself, that takes a certain humility. I mean,
Y eso en sí requiere de cierta humildad.
you have to see past kind of like the illusion picture that you have of yourself.
Tienes que sobrepasar la ilusión que tienes de ti mismo.
Okay, and you can ask, I mean, how do you do this? I mean,
Y puedes preguntar, ¿y cómo lo logramos?
I don't know. I'm going to give an exercise. I mean, whatever. This is for everybody. I don't know if everybody, whoever's ready, who thinks, whoever, you see if you're ready for this.
Yo daré un ejercicio y cada uno valorará si está listo para ello.
Okay, because we said, all right, I think we will talk about how you can't just burst your bubble. We're going to talk about that in the upcoming class.
Más adelante vamos a hablar acerca de que cómo no es tan fácil como reventar nuestra burbuja,
Because then you'll be left with nothing there.
porque entonces te quedarías con nada.
I don't know, but the Yanuka, I'm just going to say that the Yanuka, you heard of the Yanuka.
Bueno, yo solo diré o agregaré, han oído hablar del Yenuka, ¿verdad? Pues él dijo,
And the Yanuka, he was a very, a prodigy.
bueno, el Yenuka es un prodigio.
And when he was 8 years old, he wrote like various like meditations that he would do for himself.
A los 8 años de edad, el Yenuka escribió las meditaciones que él hacía para sí mismo.
And one of the meditations he has there is, imagine that you're underground, you're like dead and buried underground.
Imagínate que estás muerto y enterrado bajo tierra.
And you're pleading with Hashem.
Y le estás rogando a Hashem.
And you recognize that you have no merits, you have no case to make.
Y reconoces que no tienes méritos, que no tienes algo por qué abogar a tu favor.
And out of pure mercy, Hashem gives you life.
Y de pura misericordia, Hashem te otorga vida.
This is like the meditation. I mean,
Esta es como la meditación.
Okay, so that means that really a person, what is a person? A person's made out of dirt. I mean, what is a person?
¿Qué es la persona? La persona está hecha de tierra
And only Hashem blows in like an neshama that makes a person be alive.
y solo Hashem sopla en él el alma para hacerlo vivo.
And so everything, your life itself is only just because it's given to you by Hashem. That's it.
Tu vida misma es dada por Hashem.
That's other right. So that's all the person is. That's all.
Eso es todo lo que la persona es. Nada más.
Okay. So
Así que
maybe this help a person face the truth. See through their illusions.
esto ayude a que la persona pueda ver a través de la ilusión que tiene de sí.
Okay. All right. I guess there's no more
Bueno,
questions.
but there was a second part I didn't read from Selma. Hay
Oh,
una
go
parte
ahead.
que no he leído de Selma. A ver. Ya me lo cambió, porque yo había visto una pregunta. Bueno, aquí la cuestión es, ¿dónde sacar el ánimo? Ya vi la pregunta. Y para completar, sufrimos de una miopía muy avanzada para ver, por ejemplo, la falta de humildad que nos permitiría acercarnos a Hashem. Así que la pregunta es, ¿cómo lograr avanzar en el camino sin desfallecer en el intento? Okay, well,
Yeah. Well, you don't have to translate. There's no
okay.
reason at all to fear failure. Why should you fear failure?
No hay razón para sentir temor del fracaso. ¿Por qué lo harías?
Yeah, you did your part the best you can. So if you didn't succeed, so you go on and continue trying. That's
Si ya hiciste lo mejor de ti y tienes que seguir avanzando.
why should you be afraid of failure? What's going to happen if you fail?
¿Qué pasaría si fallamos?
Hashem will still be there. Hashem is still there waiting for you.
Hashem aún está allí esperando a ti.
Okay. All right, we'll stop here for now.
Bueno, aquí nos detenemos por hoy.
Okay, and tomorrow we'll do the next part of this.
Y mañana haremos la parte que le continúa a esto.
Okay, Mima, thank you, Senora, for your help.
Gracias, Raf, por enseñarnos.
Okay.
Y a
Okay, and
Geshe
shalom a
por
todos.
poner la
Shalom a todos.
clase.
Shalom.
Shalom.